Good morning, dear brother, dear sister. Today I want to invite you to begin this day with a prayer that flows from the very depths of the soul, inspired by Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, which tell us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." Before we begin, I invite you to write this phrase of faith in the comments. Lord, I trust in you and in your ways. By doing so, you not only declare your faith, but you also inspire others to lift their eyes toward God. And if this video blesses your life, give it a like, because that helps YouTube recommend it to more people. And it would be a great blessing if you could support in that way. Heavenly Father, on this morning I come before you with a heart filled with gratitude and need. I do not want to begin this day without first acknowledging that you are the owner of my life, the keeper of my steps, and the source of my hope. Today, inspired by your word in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, I want to learn what it truly means to trust in you with all my heart, without holding back, without conditions, without depending on what my eyes can see or what my mind can reason. For my understanding is limited, my strength is fragile, and my plans are incomplete, but your wisdom is eternal, and your will is perfect. Lord, in this first prayer of the morning, I want to surrender everything I am and everything I have, my mind, my thoughts, my worries, and my doubts. I give you my weariness and also my hopes, because I recognize that when I try to carry my life only with my own hands, I end up falling into anxiety, fear, and insecurity. But when I come to you, when I allow you to be the one guiding my steps, I can rest in the assurance that I am safe under your care. Today, Lord, I confess that many times I have leaned on my own understanding, on my logic, on my ability to reason. I have wanted to plan my path according to what seemed right to me, but how many times those paths led me to stumble. Today I come to you to admit that I do not have all the answers and that I do not need to, because the only one who knows the future is you. And what peace it gives me to remember that my steps are already known by you, that my life is in your hands, and that in your time everything has a purpose and meaning. Father, give me enough humility to recognize that I need your direction. Teach me to live with a surrendered heart, with a mind open to your voice, and with a will ready to obey even when I do not understand. If I must wait, let me wait in your faithfulness. If I must move forward, let me do it trusting in your strength. If I must remain silent, let me know that even in silence you are speaking. And if I must speak, let my words reflect your truth and your love. Lord, this morning I decide to trust in you. I want my trust to be greater than my fears, my faith to be stronger than my doubts, and my hope to stand firm even when circumstances are difficult. You are my rock, you are my refuge, you are my guide. And even though I cannot see the full picture, even though my eyes cannot understand the path, I choose to take this step of faith, because I know I do not walk alone. I know your presence goes before me. Today I rise with the certainty that you are the one who makes my paths straight, that even when I wander, you correct me with love, that even when I stumble, you lift me up with your mercy, that even when I feel lost, your light shows me the way. And that truth fills me with peace, because it does not matter what this day may bring. It does not matter how great the challenges I face. You remain faithful, you remain God, and your hand continues to guide my life. Eternal Father, thank you for reminding me that trusting in you is the greatest security I could ever have. For human plans can break, strength can fail, and resources can run out. But you are unchanging. You do not fail, and your promises endure forever. So today I choose to begin this day with an act of surrender and trust, declaring from the depths of my heart, Lord, I trust in you. Straighten my paths. Lead me in your truth. Lord Almighty, now that my heart begins to rest in your presence, I want to pause and reflect on what it truly means to trust in you with all my heart. Because it is not easy, Father. It is not something automatic. It is a constant exercise of faith and surrender. Trusting in you means letting go of control. It means renouncing my need to understand everything. It means opening my hands and releasing what troubles me so that I may place it in your secure hands. And I confess, Lord, that many times it has been difficult. because my humanity wants to anticipate, wants to calculate, wants to find quick solutions, but your word reminds me that only in you is true security found. Today, Lord, I want to learn to trust in you, not halfway, not in some areas of my life, but in everything. I want to trust you with my family, my work, my finances, my health, my dreams, and my fears. I want to trust you with what I say in public, and also with what I keep in silence within the most intimate corners of my soul. Because you know what I do not dare to tell anyone, you see what I even try to hide from myself, and yet you love me with an everlasting love. Father, teach me to trust you in times of abundance and also in times of scarcity, when everything seems to be in my favor and also when the path feels dark. Because real trust is not proven when all goes well, but especially when I do not understand what is happening, when uncertainty wants to steal my peace, when life places me before the unexpected. In those moments, I want to remember that your word sustains me, that your spirit accompanies me, and that your promises never fail. Lord, today I decide that my trust will not be placed in what I see, but in what I believe. And what I believe is that you are a faithful Father, that you are good, that you have thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give me a future filled with hope. I believe that though the world may change, though circumstances may shift, you remain forever. And that is why my trust does not depend on my emotions, but on your eternal and unchanging character. Father, help me to live this day without fear of tomorrow, because trusting in you also means resting in the truth that my future is secure in your hands. Let me understand that what worries me is already under your control, that what steals my sleep has already been seen by you from eternity, that what hurts me is also held in your hands, and that nothing I face can ever separate me from your love. Lord, this morning I want to say that I trust you not only with words, but with actions. I want my way of living, my decisions, my priorities, and my attitudes to reflect that trust. That when others look at me, they can see that I do not walk alone, that I am not carried away by anxiety, but that I walk with the certainty that there is a God who makes my paths straight and upholds my steps. Father, fill me with the grace to trust you in both the small and the great things, in the everyday details that seem insignificant, and in the life-changing decisions that mark my journey. May I do nothing without first acknowledging your presence and seeking your counsel, because I know that in your word is the light that guides my steps and the wisdom I need so that I do not stumble. Lord Almighty, let this day be a constant exercise of faith, that every time my mind wants to be troubled, I remember your faithfulness, that every time my heart wants to doubt, I remember your promises, that every time my strength fails, I remember that your power is made perfect in my weakness. And so, with a heart that trusts, I can walk in peace, knowing that there is no greater decision than placing all my trust in you. Eternal Father, this morning I want to pause and reflect on another profound truth revealed in your word, in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Do not lean on my own understanding. What a challenging command, Lord, because so many times I have thought that I know what is best, that my plans are sufficient, that my perspective is enough to move forward. But the truth is that my understanding is limited, my thoughts are fragile, and my reasoning, though sometimes it appears right, can easily lead me away from your perfect purpose. Today I recognize, Lord, that my wisdom without you is nothing. I can read, I can study, I can analyze, but only you see the beginning and the end. Only you know what lies behind every decision. Only you understand what is still hidden from me. And that is why I bow before you, because even if it is hard to admit, I need to depend on you and not on my own capacity. How many times, Father, have I leaned on my reasoning and ended up exhausted, frustrated, and empty? How many times have I walked down paths that seemed straight in my eyes but led me to confusion? Your word warns me of this, and yet it is hard to let go. That is why today I ask you to help me release that constant desire for control. Teach me to consult you in everything, to wait for your direction, to listen for your voice before I move my feet. Lord, straighten my way of thinking. Do not allow me to be guided by pride, which tells me I can do it on my own, nor by arrogance, which makes me believe my plans are better than yours. Remind me that when I rely solely on my understanding, I drift away from your wisdom. But when I acknowledge you in every detail of my life, your light illuminates my steps, and your guidance brings me peace. Today I want my thoughts to be aligned with yours. I do not want to be swayed by the pressures of this world, by the opinions of others, or by the impulses of my emotions. Let my choices bear the mark of your presence and the seal of your spirit. Open my ears to discern what truly comes from you. Open my eyes to see your will even in confusing times. Open my heart to obey even when my logic resists. Lord, trusting you does not mean that I will always understand what you are doing, but it does mean I will always be safe. Even if it seems illogical, even if it does not fit my plans, even if it is not what I would have chosen, I know that your thoughts are higher than mine and that your ways are far more perfect than mine. Teach me to live each day, Lord, with the humility of knowing that I am not wise in my own opinion. Let me lift my eyes and say sincerely, Father, guide me, because only you know the right way. Keep me from being entangled in pride, protect me from being misled by my own reasoning, and help me to come to you in every moment to seek your counsel. And today, Lord, I surrender my human understanding. I choose to walk in the faith of a child who trusts his father. I choose to release my calculations to embrace your will, because I know that your plans are never to harm me, but to give me hope and a future. And even when I cannot understand every step, even when my eyes cannot see what you see, I want to rest in your direction, knowing that if you guide my path, I will never be lost. Beloved Lord, this morning I want to focus on one of the most powerful truths in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. In all your ways, acknowledge him. What a profound teaching, Father, because I realize how often I come to you only in the big moments, in the decisions that seem too great for me to handle, while forgetting that you also long to guide me in the small things, in the ordinary, in the everyday choices that shape who I am. Acknowledging you in all my ways means lifting my eyes toward heaven before I take even the smallest step on earth. It means understanding that there is no area of my life where you are absent, that every part of my being is under your watchful eye. To acknowledge you is to depend on you not only in my victories, but also in my struggles, not only in my strength, but also in my weakness, not only in my plans, but also in my moments of confusion. Father, I want to acknowledge you in my joys when my heart feels full and my strength is renewed, so that I never forget that you are the source of every blessing. But I also want to acknowledge you in my sorrows, when tears seem louder than my faith, so that I can remember, your comfort is my refuge. I want to acknowledge you in my triumphs, so that I do not grow proud, and I want to acknowledge you in my failures, so that I do not give up. Lord, so many times I have forgotten to acknowledge you, because I become consumed by routine. I rise, I run, I decide, I speak, I act, and in the midst of all this rushing, I fail to pause and seek your counsel. But today I want to live differently. I want every choice, no matter how small, to begin with a whisper from my heart saying, Father, here I am, guide me. Acknowledging you also means accepting that I am not self-sufficient, that I am not the master of my own time, that I do not control what tomorrow holds. It is giving space to your spirit within my thoughts, opening the door of my plans to you and allowing you to decide what is best for me. To acknowledge you is to say sincerely, Father, I do not want to move without your guidance. I do not want to take a step that you have not marked. I do not want to walk a path that is not aligned with your will. Today, Lord, I choose to acknowledge you in my weaknesses, for when I am weak, your strength is made perfect. I choose to acknowledge you in my doubts, because in them you confirm that you are faithful. I choose to acknowledge you in my fears, because your love casts out all fear. And I choose to acknowledge you in my decisions, because I know that when you lead, the outcome will always be good, pleasing, and perfect. Father, let my life reflect this acknowledgement. Let others see not someone who leans on themselves, but a child who walks hand in hand with their God. Let every word I speak, every action I take, every gesture I show, carry the mark of your presence. Lord, today I affirm with all my heart that without you I am nothing, but with you I have everything. If I walk alone, I will be lost, but if you go before me, I will always reach the right destination. If I lean on my own prudence, I will stumble, but if I lean on your wisdom, I will advance securely. And so this morning I declare it again and again until it is etched deep within my soul. Father, I acknowledge you in all my ways, in the small and in the great, in the easy and in the difficult, in the clear and in the uncertain. I acknowledge that you are my guide, my light, my direction, and I know that if I live in this way, my steps will never be in darkness, for your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Heavenly Father, after acknowledging you in all my ways, your word assures me of something that fills me with hope. You will make my paths straight. What a powerful promise, Lord, because it reminds me that I am not destined to walk in confusion, that I do not have to remain trapped in disorder or in the mistakes of my past. You are the God who takes what is crooked and makes it straight, the God who turns wrong, turns into roads of redemption, the God who takes what is lost and gently guides it home. Lord, when I think about my path, I cannot help but remember the times I have wandered away from your will. My decisions, often marked by impatience, stubbornness, and the desire for control, have taken me down roads of difficulty. But even in those moments of disobedience, you have been there, correcting me with love, reminding me that there is a better way, a higher road, a path of life that only you can show me. Father, to straighten my paths does not mean that there will be no obstacles, but it does mean that I will not walk blindly. You bring clarity where there is uncertainty. You give direction where there is confusion. You open doors where there seems to be no way. Straightening my paths is your way of saying that no matter how twisted my past has been, you can give me a present full of purpose and a future filled with hope. Today, Lord, I surrender to that promise. I place my steps in your hands. I give you my decisions. I entrust to you my journey. If I am drifting, correct me with your love. If I am walking on dangerous ground, show me the way out. If I have become stuck in places where I should not remain, give me the strength to move forward. Because I know that when you make my paths straight, even if the road feels long, I will arrive at the destination you have prepared for me. Father, I also ask that you straighten the paths of my heart, for it is not only my choices that become twisted, but also my intentions within. Sometimes pride rises, sometimes envy clouds my sight, sometimes fear paralyzes me. Straighten my thoughts, straighten my emotions, straighten my motivations. Let me walk in integrity, live in truth, and remain pure of heart before you. Lord, straighten the paths of my family as well. Where there is conflict, bring reconciliation. Where there is distance, bring us close again in love. Where there are wounds, heal us with your mercy. Let my home reflect a path that has been made straight by your hand, a place where your peace reigns and your presence dwells. Father eternal, straighten also the path of my purpose. For so often I do not understand the direction of my life, yet I trust that your plans are greater than mine. If my steps have scattered into ways that do not lead me to you, gather me back and place me on the road of your will. If my strength has led me into the maze of doubt, lead me back into your light. And today, Lord, I proclaim this with faith. My paths will not remain crooked forever, because you are the one who straightens what I cannot fix. You are the one who restores what my mistakes have broken. You are the one who takes what seemed lost and turns it into a new opportunity. Father, thank you because you do not leave me walking alone. Thank you because you do not abandon me in my mistakes. Thank you because your love is so great that even my crooked paths are under your watch. Today I rise with the certainty that you will make my way straight, and that this day will not be guided by my own strength, but by your perfect direction. Loving Father, this morning I also want to place before you all of my worries, because your word calls me to trust in you and not in my own understanding. Lord, you know better than anyone the weight that my heart carries. You know the battles that no one else sees, the thoughts that swirl within me, the burdens that I sometimes do not even dare to speak aloud. You know the fears about my future, the insecurities when I feel I am not enough, the anxiety that tries to steal my peace. Today I choose to release them into your hands, because you are greater than anything I could ever face. So many times, Father, I have been trapped in my own mind, circling around the same problems, trying to find solutions with my limited reasoning, and the only result has been more exhaustion and confusion. But you remind me that my understanding is finite while yours is infinite, that my vision is narrow while yours sees all eternity, that my control is fragile while yours is perfect. And because of this truth, I can rest in you. Today, Lord, I do not want to live enslaved to worry. I want to live resting in your faithfulness. I want to learn to cast every burden on you and to trust that if you care for the birds of the air and clothe the lilies of the field, how much more will you care for me, for my family, and for every area of my life? Take my fears, Lord, the fear of failing, the fear of losing, the fear of not being able to endure. Take my doubts about what lies ahead. Take the insecurities that whisper lies into my heart. Take my silent struggles, the battles I fight when no one is watching. Take also my weariness, that deep tiredness that sometimes makes me feel as though I cannot go on. I lay them all down at your feet, believing that in your hands no weight is too heavy, no burden is too great, no wound is beyond healing. Father, teach me to trust in your provision. You are the God who never fails, the God who opens a way in the wilderness, the God who multiplies when there is little, the God who provides even when the resources seem gone. Help me to remember that my life is not sustained by what I hold in my hands, but by the promises you have spoken. Do not let me be enslaved by fear of scarcity, but let me live free in the certainty that you are my faithful provider. Lord, I also give you my relationships, my family, my friends, those I hold dear. You know where there are wounds, where there is distance, where reconciliation is needed. Straighten those paths too, Father. Heal where there is brokenness, unite where there is separation, and bring peace where there is conflict. And today, Lord, I choose to live with a lighter heart. I do not want to let my soul be weighed down by burdens I cannot carry alone. I want my mind to focus on what is true, noble, pure, and good. I do not want to fill my thoughts with worry, but with faith. I do not want to fill my mouth with complaints, but with gratitude. I do not want to fill my life with fear, but with confidence in you. Thank you, Father, because I do not have to carry my burdens alone. Thank you because your word reminds me that your yoke is easy and your burden is light. Thank you because even when the world presses hard against me, you offer rest for my soul. And so I begin this day in peace, Lord, because my worries no longer belong to me. They belong to you. And in your hands, everything is transformed into blessing. For you are the faithful God who makes my paths straight and leads me in perfect peace.